Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new interview. This is the second interview I've done for this channel. The first one I did was with Rob Ruggiero, the artistic director of TheaterWorks Hartford, which you can find on this channel. And here now we have the artistic director of Hartford Stage, Melia Bensussen, and we're going to talk about this upcoming season at Hartford Stage. Welcome, Melia. How are you?
Hi, thank you, Tim. Happy to be here with you.
Thanks for jumping on and doing this with me. This is a new thing for me, so I'm excited to see how it does and as it progresses. And I've had a long history with Hartford Stage, working there at one point, and I'm always happy to talk about what's going on there.
Well, we're always happy to have ourselves talked about, as any good theater is.
Fantastic. And so, which season is this of Hartford Stage?
Oh, goodness. We start with the trick questions. This is our 62nd season, right?
It depends on if you
Yeah,
count or don't count the pandemic.
right,
Right.
exactly. So this theater started in 63, 64. So I
Right.
guess it's our 61st,
Right.
right? And right, we did shut down for an entire season due to the pandemic. I like to say that, I took over a large, important American theater right before I got to shut it down.
Right.
It was on my bucket list of things to do, Tim. So
And
I've now
and
accomplished that.
and not only that, you've brought it back. You've helped
Most
resurrect it and bring it
importantly,
back to
we've
life.
reopened, and it's actually these last couple of years, things are just getting better and better. So it's very exciting.
And you brought in a bunch of new faces that I haven't seen in my time coming to Hartford Stage. And I first started attending shows in 2007. So uh, having people like uh, Marsha Mason 2 seasons in a row now doing shows here is fantastic. Having John Leguizamo's new work, "Kiss My Aztec," on in the season uh, are just examples of what Hartford Stage has brought to the table when it comes to regional theater in New England over the past few years, and I think that's wonderful. And it's great to have those opportunities for them and for you and for the audience.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. The variety of actors, playwrights, directors, designers who've come through, I think really speaks to how important Hartford Stage is in the culture, right? That
Right.
people like John Leguizamo and Marsha Mason and Michael Gaston and do you know Martin Zimmerman, who Simona Search was here premiering, Pearl Cleage. I mean, we've had such an amazing array of artists, and it's really about the importance of Hartford Stage on the theatrical landscape. So it's an honor to continue that trajectory for us as an institution.
And with this new season, uh, what was when you sat down in your meetings with the staff and the board of directors? What was everybody's joint vision for this season?
I think we're celebrating how strong we are and how much we're back, right? You mentioned the shutting down during the pandemic, and I feel like those first couple of years post-pandemic were cautious.
Mm-hmm.
I was very proud of the work like Kiss My Asic and Our Wilderness that were big shows, but there was just somehow a feeling institutionally of a kind of anxiety, right, for throughout the field. And now, these last couple of years, we just feel our audience is coming back, the joy returning to our theater. And so we really wanted this upcoming season, the 25-26 season, to reflect our strength, our resilience, and a true celebration of all that this theater can be. So we have, as you know, we have a world premiere, we have a couple of great comedies, we have Sweeney Todd, an extraordinary American musical. We have one of, if not one of the greatest, if not the greatest mid-century American play in Death of a Salesman. So we really have a season that I think reflects the strengths of Hartford Stage while also saying, look at us going full steam ahead.
Exactly. Now, let's kick off the season because the season officially opens October 10th with the world premiere of uh, the new adaptation of Rope, which is adapted by Jeffrey Hatcher, who wrote Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde last season. Uh,
Right.
was that something that you had been collaborating with Jeffrey before Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or was that?
So Jeffrey and I have collaborated, on and off for 30 years. I have Jeffrey to thank for my Obie in directing because I did the New York premiere of Turn of the Screw, his adaptation.
Mhm.
And that was very celebrated, and I always credit Jeffrey with that because his writing and his stage directions are so good that it's really a pleasure to collaborate with him. When we did Jekyll and Hyde, we were talking about future collaborations, and we had a bunch of ideas in mind. And then in January, Rope's End by Patrick Hamilton went into public domain.
Mhm.
And Jeff Hatcher immediately called me and said, let's do Rope. And so it's a Hartford Stage commission. And so the answer is both is yes and. Yes, Jeff and I were talking about a future collaboration, but we didn't find out that it would be Rope until after Jekyll and Hyde.
Gotcha. And Rope was once made into a film by Alfred Hitchcock, correct? That's that
Right. I mean, it's a
version.
famous Hitchcock
Yeah.
film,
But
and it's also, it's a wonderful piece of writing. It's all in all its iterations, and Jeff's version is yet a new take on the material that really takes the best of Hitchcock and of Patrick Hamilton in terms of looking at the sources. It's very loosely based, like completely loosely, but was on the Leopold and Loeb murder in Chicago
right,
in the last century. And part of why the movie is famous, right, is for all the coding of homosexuality
right.
within the story. And so
And also
there's
the giant one take film that it's intended to be, every
exactly
with every
right.
20
So
minute
there's the
reel you can
style
do it. Yeah.
piece.
But
Exactly,
but you're
right.
but you're right. There is a lot of homosexual undertones that are, oh,
It's so
pretty
interesting. I
overt.
mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But so the play, I think, really is able to, Jeff's version is 90 minutes. It's going to be a taut psychological thriller
Hmm.
with a lot of style and a lot of twists and turns. And we're thrilled to be premiering it. Very excited about that to open the season.
Is there anything that has been adapted that has been changed from the Hamilton version that you're
Tons,
willing
but
to
I'm not going to
discuss?
speak. I
Okay.
no, no, no. That would be a spoiler, and I am
Okay.
not going to do any spoilers. But yes, I think people, if they know Patrick Hamilton's original Rope's End, will be surprised. If you know the movie, you're going to be surprised.
Gotcha.
If you know both of those, you're going to love it even more. I think it's going to be a great ride for our audience.
It's going to be directed by you.
It is,
It is
yes,
directed by you.
because
Yes.
yeah. No, Jeff and I have done a lot together, and I absolutely love doing Jekyll and Hyde. We had such a good time on that together, so this
An
felt like a
award-winning
natural.
show, award-winning
An
production of Dr.
award,
Jekyll and
well, a
Mr. Hyde.
big thanks to Connecticut Critics Circle, right? I believe three of our four designers won Best Design for that last season.
Right.
So, and I appreciated the nod towards Best Director. So it's, all it was really a pleasure. And Nathan Darrow, thanks to all of you, won for his portrayal of Dr. Jekyll.
Yeah,
So
so we just received an email from him expressing his gratitude, which we really appreciate, and we thought
he is
that was
such a
wonderful.
mensch. He's a great human being, that Nathan Darrow. So
Now, there's no cast listed on the website yet. Is there? Are we still in that
not yet.
process?
We'll let you know. We're in process, but it's pretty
Mhm.
exciting what's up ahead, I think.
Okay. So after Rope is A Christmas Carol, which is the
Right?
annual tradition, and is
Michael Wilson is returning to Helmet, which we love because
perfect.
every year it gets shinier, brighter, more fun. And we have our hopefully we'll have Alan Gilmore back as Scrooge.
Hmm.
Um, and Tony nominee John Andrew Morrison in the company, Noble Shropshire, who's been part of this for as long as we've been doing it, right?
Right.
So
As far as I remember.
it's pretty exciting.
now, now, what's been great about this show is that even though the skeleton of the show remains the same, the script has basically not changed for the nearly 20 years the show's been running. Uh, but the but it's that the feel of the show evolves as it moves along. I think Alan's been getting better and better as Scrooge each year, which is great to see. It's like he's getting more and more comfortable in the role and making it his
Yeah.
own. Uh, is there any plans this season to adapt anything or present anything new to to this year, or are we kind of expecting kind of this?
It really is. It's part of the joy of it is that it really is a remount. I
Right.
mean, that is the goal of this particular production. And I would say, as with all productions, any live theater, not only does every year change, every night it changes.
Right.
So, within performances, within casting, there might be some changes, and there's always kind of that energy of a live theater event, which changes before your very eyes, no matter
Mhm.
what.
Yeah, I love the effects of the show. I mean, that I've had a hand in that with the flying and the lights. It's such a wonderful visual production, and it's such an immersive production. I've seen many productions of a Christmas Carol, either be on Broadway or at other regional theaters. What is it about this production that uh, makes it such a landmark tradition in Hartford and in Connecticut in general?
Well, I mean, it's kind of the mystery of how we build tradition, isn't it? I mean, I think there is a great joy and smarts and theatricality to Michael's adaptation, and I think the production reflects the strengths of this adaptation, the ghost story of Christmas, and that real celebration of Dickens, I think is really in there. But I would say it's you, the audience, that has made it so special
Right.
because it is that feeling of returning to something that you love. And I know I have this particularly with sort of the great novels, right? That every time you pick it up and you reread it, you discover something new and you're a
Mm-hmm.
different person, right? Who is it that said you never stand in the same stream twice? So I think the magic of A Christmas Carol is that you as an audience member return to it.
Right.
And so each time you see something new, it hits you in a different way. Depends what time in your life you are. With these great works, I would say with all these great works and with, I hope all of our season is when you experience it and how you experience it has everything to do with where you are at that moment. What generation do you see yourself in as you watch the play? What state of mind are you in? How generous are you feeling? How imposed upon are you feeling, right? Where are you on a Scrooge-o-meter, as we all have in our
Right.
lives?
Right.
Someone very wise once said to me, "You're as generous as you feel you have wealth of any kind," which is not to say the factual amount of how much do you have. How much do you feel you have? And I think as a society, a story like Christmas Carol reminds us that we have to remind ourselves to feel like we have a lot because then we'll give more of
Right.
love, of kindness, of grace, of patience,
Time.
and of money, and
Yeah.
of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the 2026 calendar year kicks off with The Cottage on January
Yeah.
16th, which is written by Sandy Rustin. And I saw that when it was on Broadway
Oh,
and
good.
thought it was a hoot. And Zoe Galopsas, is that, did I pronounce her name right?
That is right. Yep.
Yeah, she's directing the show. Uh,
Yep.
and and having seen it on Broadway and imagining it at Hartford Stage in my head, it's like it feels like a show that would fit perfectly on the Hartford
Well, good.
stage.
I think so too, right? It's a big old-fashioned comedy, a bit of a sex farce, a bit of a
Right,
murder heist, with a feminist angle, with a great sense of humor. Sandy has done such a great job of capturing, the things we love about plays like Mousetrap and Private Lives, and kind of merging those two forms. And I think, yes, our theater gives you such proximity to actors, right? You
Hmm.
know, Tim, I always say this, but it's one of the things I really love about our thrust theater is you know you're not at the movies. You
Right.
know you're not watching TV. You know,
It gets, if
you
you're
are
sitting front
breathing.
row, yeah, you're like 2 feet from the action, literally.
It's the best, and I think the madcap nature of this play will really
Right.
suit both our theater and our audiences.
And not to give too much away, but it, like you said, it is a sex comedy. There is a bit of you know comic thriller elements throughout it,
Right.
and the set design plays a big role in this show.
Yes, and you'll want to come see how Hartford Stage does what is written as a proscenium show, right?
Right.
And if you're watching this and you're not, I don't mean to talk too much shop, but a proscenium is a frame. And so Broadway theaters are all frame theaters except for Circle in the Square,
Right.
which is a circle in the square. But our theater is what we call a thrust stage, which means it comes right up to the audience's laps, and we sort of break through that frame. And I think to do a farce in
Right.
that is an additional challenge, but it's going to be so much fun.
Right. A lot of that humor is has to do with the physicality and then the use of the props and the sets. It's like you really, as an audience member, you really have to keep an eye on every little thing that's going on, or else you
That's
might miss
exactly
something.
right.
Uh,
You might need to come see it twice.
yeah, I'm sure you wouldn't mind that either. But what makes this? What makes the cottage? Uh, why did y'all choose to do the cottage? I mean, what was it about it that said, we need to with this, this is such a funny piece, we got to bring this in.
I think we need to laugh. I think we want to, the entertainment factor um, is a big, is important as we think about why people come to the theater. And also, you can't look at any one of our plays in isolation. It's really, it's meant to be a tasting menu, if you will. It's a variety of tastes. And so the cottage is really such a wonderful, joyful, silly, actor-driven piece by a woman playwright
Hmm.
that really just felt like a great mix when you look at then what follows, which is Death of a Salesman.
Exactly, and I was just about
So
to lead
this
into
is
that.
all part in conversation, right?
Right.
So you come for the cottage and it's a romp, right? Murder, sex, affairs, all this stuff, great stuff, but not necessarily speaking to your own soul. It amuses you. It's a great time at the theater. And then when you come back to Hartford Stage after seeing The Cottage, you get a completely different journey with Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman.
Right, which opens
So,
February 27th and directed by you.
yeah,
uh and none of the casting has been announced yet, but one of the great things about Hartford Stage is its balance between new material and classics. And
exactly. And that's been so important to me. And really, part of my career has always been this marriage of brand new work and classics. And so when I was first interviewed, I was like, oh my goodness, yeah, this would be my artistic home, no problem. This is so
mm,
much the range of work that I've always done. And I love that our season reflects that, right? Brand new play, great Dickens work, new comedy, great American classic, followed by a fairly new comedy, and then ending with a big, great American musical. So I feel like that mix in our season really reflects the culture of Hartford Stage.
and you did All My Sons a couple seasons ago now,
Right.
which was a wonderful production. I loved it. What is your vision with this production of Death of a Salesman that people can look forward to at
I
this point?
think you know, my feeling about Miller, as you saw in All My Sons, is that it's so immediate and it's so much of us. And it doesn't need to be or shouldn't be treated too self-seriously nor put at a distance from us. I, I, it's, we need to avoid the Mona Lisa effect with these great plays. And by that, I mean have you you really don't see the Mona Lisa close up. You're told it's a great painting, and
Hmm.
people photograph it, and we know the photos of people at the Louvre 15 deep take with their cameras, right? But you're not necessarily moved by that painting. You're just told it's a great painting. And I think with some of the quote unquote great plays, Shakespeare, Miller, O'Neill, there's this assumption of greatness without an emotional connection to the work.
Right.
And I am really against that. I want the emotional connection. I think the thing with salesmen is these are our neighbors. These are real people. This could be happening now. And I will tell you, I read the play now, and I'm as moved as when I first encountered it as in my 20s.
Yeah. It's like even the last Broadway production that came up a few seasons
Yeah,
ago
with Wendell
with
Pierce
Wendell
in the
Piston.
lead
Yeah,
role.
I mean
Yeah,
it was a interesting way to challenge the perspective of the production by having an all black Loman family, uh, and but I think that's healthy. I mean, some things,
totally. I mean, Miller does that, right? These
right,
great plays. The point is, how do you access this family, this feeling of fathers and sons, the endless, right? The endless struggle between fathers and sons, the endless struggle of, paying your bills, making your way, finding meaning in your life. I just think these themes, they don't go out of style.
right, and it's not uh, specific to one race or gender even. I mean, I would be, I'm sure I've never seen a production, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a production of Death of a Salesman where he had a female Willie Loman who going through
I
similar
can totally
experiences.
see it. I would say my heart really goes very much to the maleness of Willie Loman
Yeah, there
and the
is,
struggle of being a man who's the breadwinner
right,
in
particularly for
the
that
case of the
period.
play, particularly, but I think very true still. What does it mean to be supporting a family?
Right.
And I think, it's hard to be human, period, but I think we are in a period where it's really hard to be a young man. And so I think a lot about, Happy and Biff
Hmm.
and what it means to be the sons, right? They're in their early 30s, mid 30s and early 30s for those two boys. And what it means to identify with your father but resent your father. This is one of the oldest themes in literature. That doesn't change. Mothers, daughters, fathers, sons. I think there's just so much to that right at this moment, too, that
Yeah.
this production, I feel like Miller is really, really savvy about gender on this play, to
There,
be
there's
honest.
there's something also to say about this play and how it speaks to a 2025 audience about how I think you were getting into this a little bit was the societal expectation of the male gender. And
I feel that so strongly with this, Tim,
mhm,
and I know it's in part, I mean, I have a 29-year-old son. I've been married for 33 years. So there are echoes, and I'm shocked by the echoes because you'd
yeah,
think, no, no, this was the old world. This isn't contemporary. But the stuff stays, and I do think too, Willie Loman's aspiring for, in a sense, the wrong American dream
hmm,
or the misreading of American culture from his point of view of what would give him success um, is not unrelated to some of the stuff we're going through now as a country.
exactly.
So I do feel it's really salient.
Yeah. Uh, Following Death of a Salesman, which opens April 17th, is Native Gardens, which is written by Karen Zacharias and the director
Zacarías,
Zacharias.
Zacarías, por
Okay,
favor.
okay. I keep going Greek, and she's and it's Latina.
Exactly.
Okay,
No, no, she's Latina, estamos así, las Latinas.
see, gotcha. Okay, and the director has not been announced yet, correct?
Um, we do have a director, but and that is Nicole Watson.
Okay,
So that's not on our website yet, but will be. But a terrific director who runs the Playwright Center in Minneapolis. Nicole is going to be helming that production.
okay. And this is a play that's been produced multiple times here in Connecticut already,
Yeah.
regionally. It's like Ireton's done it, Westport's done it. Um, What is Hartford Stage bringing new to the table uh, for people who
I,
may be in
I
the area?
I love the question. I think in part it's sort of scale of production that we can
Mhm.
give, and sort of that sense again, as you were talking about seeing the cottage and Hartford Stage's setting. I think seeing Native Gardens, if you've seen it before, you know how funny it is, and you'll want to come see different actors playing it here and be in a different physical relationship to the play. I also have found, Tim, that we tend to not share that many audience members with these
That is
different
true.
theaters, which is really interesting. I know we've looked at, not with Iverton, but with Westport, we've looked at who goes in terms of just zip code studies and ticket buyers. So our Hartford Stage audience is very much devoted, particularly to Hartford Stage. So
Mhm.
in season selection, it's really very interesting. In some ways, I'm programming for a national conversation. That's where something like Rope, a world premiere, we're contributing as an institution to plays around the country. But we're also always conscious of programming for this community. And I
Right.
think Native Gardens is a play that this community will enjoy so much and they haven't seen, no matter how many times it's been done in other theaters.
And one of the things that I love about this play is the conflict of stereotypical perceptions.
I love that. That is exactly the phrase I would use, right? Is that who we think our neighbors are versus who they are. And again, it felt relevant to this moment to
Hmm.
be able to laugh about how wrong we can be about our neighbors,
Right.
and their yards, seemed a
Right.
very relevant piece of writing for this community at this time.
But it also, it's not just about what you perceive about your neighbors, but what you discover about yourself in the process.
Well
These are
said.
people
Yeah,
that are in conflict over how one backyard should look like versus the other, and and you've and you just, there's a lot of self discovery in it for the characters,
that's exactly right.
which I think is
Which is, I hope,
great.
what theater does to us as well, right?
Right.
The journey of the characters within the play is a bit what I hope all of us experience watching the play.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a bit more complex than uh oh, those neighbors are the antagonists and these neighbors are the protagonists. Uh, they tend to be, it's a bit more complex than that binary when it comes to the
That's right.
storytelling, which I think is helped.
Right.
You know,
I think, as with all great writing, there's no good guys and no bad guys. We're just
right,
all very human, and sometimes we behave well, and sometimes we don't.
right, and of course, like uh,
With Iago as an exception.
well, yeah,
I,
Iago
I, I
is an
just
exception.
need to say,
Yeah,
and Richard the
Iago,
Third. All right, so Shakespeare has some villains who are
yes.
villains. So I
Did what was it, not Ken Page, Patrick Page's one man show about the villains
the
of
devils, all the
Shakespeare.
devils
All the
are
devils are
here.
here. Yeah, and he talks
Yes.
about Iago. That's one. I
Yes.
we're kind of inside baseball right now, but seriously, if he ever brings a show to your community and your neighborhood, whoever's watching this, check it out. He breaks down Shakespearean villains like I've never seen before.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
it's a great tip.
yeah.
And then, of course, our
Which
big
is,
finish.
yeah, talking about great villains of theater, Broadway.
Yep, is that
It's Sweeney
Rob,
Todd.
right? Exactly. And I'm sure, so Theater Works and Hartford Stage collaborating to bring this extraordinary musical to this city, to both our audiences, really believing in collaboration, in sharing resources. And it's not a show either one of our theaters could do alone. So
Mm-hmm.
doing it together really makes it possible. And it's deeply exciting to see that production again in this wonderful theater.
I talked to Rob about it a few weeks ago, and uh, the way he put it was like, yes, we're sharing our resources. So because it's a show where we're sharing the profits, but we're also sharing the expenses.
That's exactly right.
And Rob's directing this,
Yes.
Sweeney Todd, as and what he was telling me, it's not a teeny Sweeney, but it's
It's
somewhere
not Sweeney
between.
Sweeney, but it is a chamber, right? We're excited. So
Okay.
it's a chamber version.
Right.
In the sense that it's not a big Broadway orchestra and a huge ensemble. And that's a strength because both TheaterWorks and Hartford Stage, as you and I have said before, even during this call, is how much we value the connection with an audience. So this is a way of making this musical intimate, dark, funny, but right, you're part of the storytelling
Right.
in this theater.
Because as great as TheaterWorks Hartford Stage is, it doesn't have the space that Hartford Stage has to
It's
be able to
exactly
pull
right.
off some of the elements. Uh,
That's right.
and and also, and it's funny because as Rob and I were discussing it, because everybody talks about Sweeney Todd, and which the character Sweeney, and
Right.
how gloriously villainous he is, because he's murdering people left and right. It's I have a strong, and this is not a spoiler. This is kind of like a drop for you, for the audience to pay attention. Sweeney's not the most villainous character in the show.
That's right. That is
There's
very right. And that's a good clue to follow, right? I mean,
right,
that is really the, as I say, the breadcrumb that will really lead you to to that's, the sort of the following the hints that are within the piece, and that's just a great tidbit to share with our audiences.
right, yeah, and it's so what on your end, as you can tell the tale, uh, did how did Hartford Stage come into this story with TheaterWorks Hartford, this
We've
collaboration?
been we've been talking for a while about trying to find ways to work together, and uh, it depends where you start the telling of the story, right? One of the beginning points is how much time during the pandemic Cynthia and Robin Steve Collins spent together here in Hartford. I had decamped to Boston during the pandemic, but those three had really created a great collaboration. I've been privileged to gain from it. I get to hang out with all of them. And it's, we've got the Hartford Symphony, TheaterWorks, and Hartford Stage all looking out for each other through
Right.
these friendships and collaborations. So it was very natural, I think, to find a way for both theaters to work together. And um, Hartford Stage has never done Sondheim. So which is kind of extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of Hartford Stage is, trademark work is the great American writers, and Sondheim is certainly that.
Yeah.
So this just felt, and Rob had done a production of Sweeney Todd, which I got to see the video of, which was terrific. So we started talking about how to collaborate. Rob has wanted always to uh, play with Hartford Stage more, and his ability with these great musicals, right? He has so much national recognition for this work. It just feels like a great fit for us at this moment to join forces and to say to this community, these two theaters are really committed to the city. This
Mm-hmm.
is about beyond either one of our institutions. It's how important it is for this city to have access to great theater, and our two theaters together can do that.
And from what I understand is that, because we've talked about this a lot in this discussion, is Hartford Stage's three-quarter thrust stage, which will be removed for Sweeney Todd to bring more seats in a little bit
Yes,
into
we're
the
not
thrust
removing it
area.
fully, right? And to just say it doesn't become complete, but we've done this before with other musicals.
Mm-hmm.
Folks who came to see Flamingo Kid,
Yeah.
Anastasia, and Gentleman's Guide certainly are experienced with this. We're not removing, we're adding seats to what would be the stage in
Right.
a sense. But this production will sort of be a bit of a hybrid, given that we want that sense of intimacy with the audience to happen from the
Right.
stage.
Awesome. Uh, Now
That's our season.
that's the
That's pretty
season. That's
good,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So what about you? Are you doing anything else this season? Are you doing any other side projects?
I am. I'm working on a couple of new plays. Doing actually could invite folks to join us at the Guggenheim on Sunday, October 26th for a reading of excerpts of a brand new play by Tony Award winning, Pulitzer winning Adam Rapp. I've been working with Adam on his new play. And then there's a couple of other projects that I'm in development about, one a new musical and one another new play that I hope this year we'll be doing workshops and, giving a lot of TLC to in hopes that they'll come and be shared with the audiences in Hartford.
Fantastic. Now, and Hartford Stage does more than just the five shows. You've got other little projects that happen throughout the year. You just finished this summer's breakdancing Shakespeare, or
Yeah,
is yeah?
our education programs, right, have been extraordinary. Lightning Thief is this week. So there's still one more education program to go. It's the high school musical. I mean, the musical with high school students that's
Right.
performed on our stage. Breakdancing Shakespeare, one of our banner programs, an extraordinary opportunity for a mix of hip hop breakdancing and Shakespeare with students ages, 14 to 20 from this community, round numbers here. I'm not
Hmm.
don't quote me on exactly the ages, but these kids have been amazing. It was just a great, great, great version of Hamlet. It actually
Awesome.
really illuminated Hamlet for me in different ways, thanks to their extraordinary insights, right? And Hamlet is so much a play about a young man in
Hmm.
distress. So it's really great to watch young people take that on. And so, yes, our education programs, and those continue throughout the year. We have adult education classes. So do go to hartfordstage.org to find out. You can study with great, great teachers. And I know we have guest artists. A lot of times the actors who are here, and certainly I and Zoe, my associate artistic director, visit these classes as well as the amazing teachers who lead them. So we have that. We'll have other events during the year. I know we'll have backstage tours this season, Tim. So people
Hmm.
should be on the lookout for postings around how to tour our backstage and any number of other really community-minded events to share the how much we love that this theater is in this community and how much we want to share it with the community.
Fantastic. And you just dropped the website. So if anybody wants to find out more information about the shows as y'all make your announcements, they can follow you. They can visit the website.
Absolutely.
What are other ways that people can
We're
find
on
out?
Instagram, right? We're on Facebook, all the usual channels. So, but if you go to hartfordstage.org, it'll show you links to everything.
Right. And so when should we start expecting to hear announcements in regards to casting?
I think, before the end of this month is my hope. So stay tuned.
Great. Well, Amelia, anything else you'd like to add about what Hartford Stage is
No,
doing this
really,
year?
really, really appreciate the time. Come hang out with us. We have a great lobby. It's, come see a show. You can also write we'll have there's a stage pass so you can buy, right? You know about this. You don't have to buy a subscription. You can buy just you can pick and choose which plays you want to see and get a really discounted price on those.
Mm-hmm.
Subscriptions are, of course, the cheapest way to buy tickets. But also make sure you're on our mailing list because we do all sorts of wacky things. They just pop up. And so either visit our website, get on our mailing list, stay in touch with us. We'd love to. This is really a theater for this community, so I want this community in our theater.
Also, I just wanted to ask to see if, because you were talking about this program before the pandemic, but I had never asked if you said continued post pandemic. That is the child care program with the church across the
Oh,
street. Were you
break
able to
my
keep doing that?
heart. No, this was for those of you who aren't aware, when I first came to Hartford, we started babysitting during certain matinees in collaboration with Christ Church Cathedral. And I just loved, loved, loved that we could offer you the opportunity to drop off your kids across the street and come see a play without having to worry about childcare. That unfortunately, for the moment, has not returned,
Okay.
right? Due to all sorts of staff bandwidth and finance challenges. But as we grow bigger and more robust and healthier as an institution, I do hope that'll come back.
Awesome. I love the idea. I think it's great,
It's
particularly
a
to be able to
program
bring
near and
in.
dear to my heart. And when I'd been thinking about it for years, when I got this job, I was like, now I get to make it happen. It's had some, it's just that the challenges of returning really to our full strength. But I feel like this season is really a big indicator that we will, and that we'll be able to do things like that again.
Fantastic. Melia, thank you so very much for
Thank
being
you,
on the show.
Tim.
Uh, my hopes for a superb and successful season, and
Thank
uh,
you.
and
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you at the theater. All
absolutely,
of
I will.
you at the theater.
And yeah, next show, Rope.
Rope.
I'll be
All
there.
right.
Thank you very
Great.
much,
We'll see
Melia.
you there. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching.
Bye. All right.